All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're cracking open a book that's practically a legend in the personal finance world, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki, right? So, have you read this one? What pops into your head when you hear that title, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Huh. Even if you have, get ready because we're about to go deep and uncover some fresh perspectives. Okay, so Kiyosaki, he kicks things off with this whole two dads concept. You've got his biological father, the poor dad, and then there's his friend's dad, the rich dad. And just a heads up, before anyone gets their financial statements in a twist, this isn't about judging their actual bank accounts. It's about their, mindsets when it comes to money.
Totally. It's super interesting how Kiyosaki uses those contrasting figures, those two dads, to really make you question your assumptions about wealth. Like you've got poor dad, a highly educated guy, steady job, sounds like the recipe for success, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's the one constantly struggling financially.
It's like he's saying all my classic advice: get good grades, go to college, find a secure job. Love. Like, it doesn't always guarantee financial security, does it? And then on the flip side, you've got Rich Dad, the self-made entrepreneur who's dropping truth bombs like the lack of money is the root of all evil.
Which is such a powerful statement when you really think about it, because at first it might sound a little extreme, but isn't it true that financial stress, it kind of fuels a lot of other problems in life? Relationships, health, even personal growth, they can all get strained when money's tight.
Oh, absolutely. It's like Kiyosaki saying, hold on, maybe it's not actually the love of money that's the villain here. Maybe it's the lack of it that causes the real trouble.
Exactly. And what's really powerful is that Kiyosaki, he lived this contrast, right? Growing up with those two very different perspectives on money, constantly battling it out in his head.
Can you imagine being a kid in that situation?
Yeah.
Trying to sort through those conflicting money messages? No wonder he became so fascinated by financial education. Talk about a front row seat to two completely different ways of thinking.
Absolutely. And that clash of perspectives, that's what makes Rich Dad Poor Dad so compelling. It really forces you to question everything you thought you knew about building wealth.
Okay, so we've got these two money mindsets going head to head, right? One says work for the money, the other's all about make that money work for you. But how do we actually make that second part happen?
That's where this whole idea of assets versus liabilities comes in. Honestly, it's a game changer.
This is classic Kiyosaki, right?
It is. It's at the core of his whole philosophy.
Hmm.
Rich people buy assets, poor and middle class, they buy liabilities, but think they're assets.
And it's all about cash flow, right? Like those simple diagrams in the book, you got your two boxes. Assets, liabilities, easy to visualize.
Yeah, assets are putting money into your pocket every month, your money-making machines. Liabilities, they're pulling money out of your pocket, and we often mistake them for assets.
It's like your house, huge investment, right? But if you're making those mortgage payments, property taxes, all that, and it's not generating any income, is it really an asset? Or is it more of a liability?
Exactly. Kiyosaki really makes you think differently about what actually brings in the cash.
And this is where he goes after the get a good job myth. He even has that story, right, about all those super successful businessmen back in the 1920s.
Oh yeah, those were the titans of industry, the guys at the top of their game. You'd think they'd be set for life. But then a few decades later, so many of them were bankrupt. Some even took their own lives.
The kind of a brutal example of how a job doesn't always equal long-term security.
Right, you've got to build those income-generating assets that work for you, even when you're not clocking in.
So if it's not just about the good job, what's the key? What's the rich dad secret?
Building a business, it's about taking those calculated risks, creating something of value. Remember that story about Kiyosaki as a kid, creating that comic book library? His first taste of entrepreneurship.
It's such a great story. And even if you're not trying to be the next big entrepreneur, that mindset, that business owner's perspective, it's invaluable. Thinking outside the box, spotting opportunities, making moves.
Absolutely. And Kiyosaki, he doesn't stop there. He even gets into the legal stuff. How the wealthy use corporations to protect their assets and legally reduce their taxes.
It's like he's giving you the insider knowledge, the stuff they don't teach you in school. But here's the thing. It's not just about understanding how money works on paper, right?
No, not even close.
It's this whole other level, this like inner game of wealth.
Totally. Kiyosaki, he's all over that. He talks about fear holding people back, laziness, those bad habits we get into,
Oh, yeah.
arrogance even, thinking we know it all.
And don't forget those naysayers, the ones telling you it can't be done.
Oh, absolutely. Always telling you the sky is falling, like Chicken Little.
It's so true, though. Sometimes we're our own worst enemies. Yeah.
It's that self-sabotage. That's the real danger sometimes.
So how do we, like, rewire our brains then? How do we escape that poor dad mindset?
Kiyosaki, He uses this great example of the Alamo. Most people, they see it as this tragic defeat, right? But he focuses on the Texans, that resilience, that fighting spirit.
Remember the Alamo. Right.
Exactly. They turned a loss into this, like, rallying cry.
And Kiyosaki's big on that.
Yeah.
Embracing the setbacks, not letting them derail you.
Yeah. It's all about learning from your mistakes and coming back stronger.
So it's not about avoiding failure. It's about knowing how to deal with it when it inevitably happens.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but let's bring it all home for our listeners. If you're taking away just a few key things from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what are they?
Well, pay yourself first. That's huge. Before you even think about bills, fun money, anything, put something aside for your future self.
Like you're your own top priority, right?
Exactly. And find mentors, people who are already killing it in the game you want to play.
Learn from the best, right? Shortcut to all that wisdom.
Now, this one might throw people off. Kiyosaki is all about making offers, negotiating, and not just for big stuff, for everything. Salaries, deals, you name it.
Don't be afraid to ask for what you want.
Exactly. And last but not least, think big. Even if you're starting small, no limiting beliefs.
No ceiling. I love it. It's like that classic line from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Money is just an idea. If you want more, you got to change your thinking.
Powerful stuff. Because it's true, your financial reality, it really starts in your mind.
It's about taking control, making those changes, big or small. So as we wrap up our deep dive here, I want to leave you with one final thought. Kiyosaki, he's laser focused on financial education. But what other skills, what other knowledge do you think people need to thrive in this crazy world? Hit us up on social media. Let us know what you think. Until next time, keep those minds curious, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.